Welcome to the Extraordinary Health Podcast with your host, Dr. Paul Beckham. My name is Allie. We're also here with Liz.
Hi.
And today we're going to be talking a little bit about hydration. You want to start us off, Dr. Beckham?
How many people are dehydrated?
A lot.
Yeah, I was like,
More than are hydrated appropriately, I would imagine.
Yeah, I think it's something that, if I see, patients that come in the office, especially in the wintertime here, it seems like in North Dakota, I always tell people it's very, very comparable to being in like Arizona or, New Mexico, a state where it's really hot and dry in the summertime. And if you're there, most people, if you have people or friends you're visiting or something like that, they're going to tell you drink. Just keep drinking because you don't realize, how much you're actually losing in sweat because it is so hot and dry. Your sweat just dries up right away. In North Dakota, it's so cold and dry that you don't realize how much you're sweating during the wintertime here. And again, you need to just be drinking as much water as you can. But also make sure you're getting some electrolytes in there as well. So if you don't have the electrolytes there, you're not going to keep that proper balance in your body. And if you're just drinking purely water, you can run into problems too. So, you can get that through your diet. I mean, you could eat things like pickles or whatever. I'll tell people to literally add like a quarter teaspoon of sea salt or Himalayan pink salt to like a 12-ounce glass of water. Throw a little bit of lime or lemon juice in there just so it helps absorb that salt as well. You don't need a lot, but you need a little bit there so that you have that electrolyte balance in your body as well. I mean, obviously you can get it through other foods and all that sort of stuff, but that simple kind of homemade concoction there can at least keep you from getting too dehydrated there, but also making sure that you're drinking enough water there. I think you should, even if you feel hungry in the wintertime, I mean, the funny part might be is that you're actually dehydrated. I think the first thing you need to do is literally drink some water, even if you feel like you're hungry, because your body sometimes, you just don't really pick up the signals properly there.
Yeah, that's a good point. We should talk about, so how does your body tell you that you're dehydrated? What are some of the signs that we're looking for that people might not realize?
They might not realize. I mean, obviously the things that they would realize would be like, dry lips or something like that. Obviously you've been outside sweating a lot and all that kind of stuff, but your muscles might be cramping up. That's probably the biggest thing that I see. I'll have patients come in here and they're just tight, almost head to toe. And the problem is that, yes, they're not getting enough water in. They're not getting enough electrolytes. I'm thinking of a simple thing here, just changing your diet a little bit and adding in like dark green leafy salads. They are loaded with minerals, so you can get a lot of minerals just straight through your diet there. But other things, people, are just literally, they'll have some of the nerve type pains too. They can literally get like neuropathy type pains there where they'll feel the little electrical stabs. They might get some twitching going on, little muscle, they're called fasciculations. You might see your muscle kind of just bouncing up and down and all that. It's because you just don't have enough hydration as well as electrolytes in your body there. Obviously, there could be other situations going on as well, but that's probably the most common thing that's going to be happening there. You're going to get muscle cramps. You even watch some of the sports players and stuff like that. They're just working so hard. They're sweating a lot, and all of a sudden they're cramping up. And it's because, that's why they have, things like Gatorade, or an electrolyte type drink on the sidelines, as well as water over there too, because again, drinking an electrolyte type drink, you don't need to drink that all day long. You're probably going to get way too much of the minerals in there. You need to maybe have one if you're working out or in some hot weather, or like I just mentioned here in the cold weather where it's super dry. You need to probably have maybe a couple of those a day just to help keep that positive kind of electrolyte balance there. Or again, eat some foods that are high in some of the minerals, which are like the dark green leafy salads. That could be just super, super helpful there.
So every morning I try to start out my day with drinking a glass of water.
Yep.
So do you think that would be a time where I could add in the salt and the lime and everything? Or do you think it'd be more when I'm exerting than just waking up?
It's actually probably a really good thing to do in the morning because a lot of people, yes, overnight you're breathing and you actually do lose a lot of your body's hydration at night just from breathing and during your sleep. So to have a glass of water in the morning. And another thing is, like, if you add that salt in the morning, you do kind of stimulate your adrenal glands. It'll release aldosterone as well to help keep that balance of the salts correct there. So that can actually help stimulate the rise of cortisol in your body as well. So it can help wake you up a little bit without having to have something like caffeine in the morning there. So having that electrolyte drink in the morning can be very helpful in even getting your body's circadian rhythm, you know, how you're sleeping during your body's sleep-wake cycle, where cortisol should be raising in the morning, and it should be kind of a bit lower at night, so that you're keeping that in proper balance.
All right.
I'm going to just start taking a shot of pickle juice with
There
my
you go.
water in the morning. I think.
Heck yeah.
I love my pickle juice.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to have her mock Bloody Mary with some extra pickle juice.
Well, yeah, when you said the salt and the lime, and I was like, I usually have that afterward. My tequila. No. But
the tequila
actually,
might help relax your muscles.
well, I was gonna say, you know, a lot of people, when they're say hungover, right? You
Yeah.
think about those symptoms that you're feeling; those are actually right in line with many symptoms of dehydration, which is usually the number one problem when you're not feeling so great after a night out. You need to hydrate, and a lot of that does have to do with the electrolytes as well. But you know, you can have muscle soreness or fatigue after a night out, and you know, chapped lips, and you know, even your skin when you pinch it, it doesn't go back to where it was supposed to be. It's not as, you know, you can tell when your skin is more pliable than when it's not. And because when you're dehydrated, your cells, they lose that extra water that's circulating through those pathways around your cells, and they start moving closer together. And that's not good. That can increase pain, like we were talking about with the neuropathy too.
It'll decrease the elasticity of the skin. It's going to probably make you look a little bit older over time too. I mean,
Yes.
the more that you're dehydrated and as you age, I mean, that's really when we even look at, you know, deeper, not necessarily like skin level, but you can see it in people's skin, you know, as they get older, they're not keeping that proper hydration there. And that's where there's different supplements we can kind of get into there as well, but they're not being able to keep the water in their body there, to keep the cells functioning well. And then things that we see even like on a chiropractic standpoint are discs that are starting to, they'll say degenerate, but they're actually dehydrating. They're losing that water content. And there's some specific supplements that we'd have people take for that, to help rehydrate even the discs in their spine there too, so that they can hopefully get a little more cushion in between the vertebrae, because a lot of the people obviously come in with pain. They could come in with, you know, even a disc bulge that's, you know, starting to affect some nerves and cause a, you know, neuropathy, because you're literally irritating the nerves right where they're exiting out of the spine, and then it's going to affect all of the tissues along where that nerve travels too. So hydration is key in a lot of areas here. So
Yeah. I think of hydration going hand in hand with healing, period.
Yeah.
You know, because if you think about it, I mean, our bodies are mostly comprised of water. That is how messages are transmitted through the bodies, through your cells, and they need that water for their neural pathways. And when you get dehydrated, it can actually lead to buildup of like toxins and stuff in your cells and inflammation, which leads to added pain. So the more you hydrate, the more you heal, really.
yeah, you're not going to be able to clear out, you know, some of that tissue that does need to be cleared out, whether that be, you know, chemicals from the cells that have already been used. You know, it's just going to pool up there, and that's where people, you know, can get that extra soreness there. And over time, it just kind of accumulates, and especially in chronic conditions. I mean, there's so many even autoimmune type conditions, like, hey, drinking that extra water, even with some of those conditions, yes, you have some immune responses to different things there, but if you can get more water in your body there, that can just help heal and flush some of that stuff out. I mean, you obviously might need to be looking at even some of the detoxification pathways of your liver there, and if those are all working well. If they're not working well, I mean, we can run some tests to find out exactly what needs to be done to help clear that stuff out. But the main pathway, I mean, some of the main things that get cleared out of your body are done through just water-soluble detoxification, like caffeine. You know, that takes 2 to 3 days to really get cleared out of your system. by just not drinking it, and your body should have it pretty much cleared out, and you shouldn't have that dependency where you feel like you need to have that caffeine every single day.
So my body is part coffee.
Yes.
She believes that her DNA has changed so that it needs coffee.
It's required. It's required. No, I mean, if I know for a fact if I got off of it for a few days, I'd feel a lot better. And I have actually read, is this true? I've read that a glass of cold water can actually wake up your brain even better than a cup of coffee.
I mean, that's possible. I mean, I guess I can't, I'd have to go back and look at it myself here. But I mean, if you have some cold water, I guess that's where I lean on that, like electrolyte drink in the morning there, because that definitely will wake a person up because, not only are you getting that water in your system there to kind of help rehydrate things there, but if you have the electrolytes there, like I say, you're even stimulating your adrenal glands, and that can help raise the cortisol levels there too. So that can help wake you up. So there might be a little bit of an effect with the cold water there, but, obviously, you can take a cold shower, and that's really going to wake you up. That might be throw the cold water or a cold glass of water in your face or something, and that for sure probably is going to do it. But
I've seen that on TikTok where you have like a bowl of water with ice in it, and you submerge your face in the water for, I think it's like 15 to 20 seconds or something, and you're supposed to feel amazing after.
So TikTok taught you.
I learn a lot from TikTok. I swear. It's not all mumbo jumbo.
I'd rather stay asleep. I feel like that would be really cold on your eyeballs.
Oh, I'm
Like,
sure.
that would not feel
I'm sure it's
good.
not very comfortable.
And the ice baths, I mean, you look at all the people that do ice baths and just how much that can help with just decreasing inflammation in a person's body, because not only is your body, when you go into something cold, even like chambers that they have where you can do the really
Cryotherapy?
cold, the cryotherapy where they're using the liquid nitrogen to get it down to negative 230 some degrees or whatever. You're going in there for like 2 minutes. Therapeutically, I know I've seen the research on some of this here, like for ice baths, literally doing them like 3 times a week. I think it's like 11 minutes total, so almost like 4 minutes every ice bath there can really help stimulate your body's heat shock genes so that your circulation works better, because as you cool down, what does your body have to do when you get out? It's got to heat it back up, right? So it's going to help kind of force the circulation. As you're in the ice bath, all that blood's going to start to pool to your core, to keep your core warm. And then when you get out, all of a sudden, it's just going to start surging out and just help clear out everything. And that's where people that do have inflammatory type conditions, the ice baths can help out a lot. And that's a simple thing to do at home. You don't need anything super fancy for that. I've seen people make them for $1,000 or something like that. Obviously, you can do it in your own bathtub, but you have to be able to kind of submerge your whole body in it too. And
you just got to get a horse trough.
There you go.
Yep. Especially in North Dakota, it's already going to be cold.
The problem is you're not going to be able to get into the water here in the wintertime because it's called ice.
It's called ice.
Maybe just fill it right before you go in. Throw some snow in there.
Ooh.
But yeah, so water
then you're
on
calling
the outside.
the neighbors to get you out because you just froze yourself into the horse trough.
If I'd be able to reach my phone.
That would be a conversation.
Excuse me, can you help get me out of this trough?
And for those of you that don't want to try ice baths, hydrating from the inside out can also decrease cellular inflammation.
So flushing from
So
the inside
keep that
out,
in
yeah.
mind. Yes. Drinking water will also decrease inflammation.
You can also get,
in most cases.
yeah, I mean, you can get on that hot end of the spectrum too. I mean, there's a lot of research on like saunas. Typically what I've seen has more been the Finnish saunas there, where you have the rocks where you can even pour the water over the rocks and all that sort of stuff so you can get the heat up. You got to get up over 140, 150 degrees there and be in there for, I think there you're supposed to be in there for, it's 45 to 60 minutes in a week, so like 3 times a week again. And I think if you do that in combination with that ice bath, you're supposed to do the heat, do that sauna first, and then hop in the ice bath right after you're done. And you'll really be stimulating some things. I mean, your whole body's going to feel like numb and tingly, and you're going to feel alive.
It's a lot of sensations.
You probably don't feel it after a while, so don't try this if you have neuropathy because you're not going to feel any of it probably. So
that sounds dangerous. Yes.
But yeah, hydration is a key thing for everybody. and you can almost see it in some of the symptoms of people as they get older. If they haven't really hydrated themselves well over the years, you'll see a lot more wrinkles and all that sort of stuff in their face and their hands and their feet, and hair can even get a bit brittle and all that sort of stuff as well. Usually that has a little bit more to do with protein, but still you want to make sure that everything's functioning well, and the only way that's going to happen is by making sure you keep the proper amount of water in your body. I think, interestingly, the testing equipment that we got for testing for neuropathy and all that, we can actually also see your hydration levels in your body. So, if that is something that you do want to kind of find out exactly where are you at with your current hydration levels here, you can always come in and get tested here, find out where you're at and see if you are dehydrated or if you're in the normal range. It's a high percentage of people that I've seen, that we've tested for neuropathy that actually are dehydrated. Some of them are close to where they should be at, so it won't take probably a lot for them to get up into the normal range. But there's a lot that are pretty significantly dehydrated, and they just really need to start, pounding the water, getting some electrolytes in there, changing their diet a little bit too, just to help get more minerals into their system, to help even retain some of that so they get the proper nerve conduction, get the proper fluids in their body so that even their blood can, run a little bit better. Because if you don't have enough fluid in your body, even your blood's going to have a hard time circulating around too. So...
yeah, I've actually, speaking of that and the viscosity of the blood and everything is when you're donating blood or donating plasma, things like that, that's important. It's going to take you longer to donate if you're dehydrated because your blood's going to be a lot thicker. And so you got to think to yourself, what does that mean for the rest of my body and its functions and its processes? And how is that affecting every process in my body with my blood being thicker? Messages aren't going to be sent as quickly through those streams, and it's not good. It's not good. It's not optimal.
It's we want to make sure that you're operating as close to your full potential as possible. And it even kind of brings to mind, like, one of our therapies we have in the office is PEMF therapy, or pulsed electromagnetic field therapy. And even with that, they highly recommend that people even use an electrolyte drink before they get on it to really get more of a benefit out of it. If you're in proper hydration and all that, you should do really well with it. But that makes a huge difference in how that therapy can help people, because it actually helps to put charges on your cells, and you need to have those electrolytes in your system to keep that charge on there too. And when they've done tests, like a previous piece of equipment that came from Germany that we had, they had some really interesting studies where they had some microscopes even on the small arterioles of people when they were doing surgeries, and they ran PEMF after the surgery, and you can literally see just how much better people's blood was flowing through their body after they had the PEMF therapy, as well as having the electrolyte drink there too. So, I mean, it's like 100 times faster. It's just crazy. So, having proper hydration for a person. Obviously, you hear all the numbers out there of how to really calculate, like, what should I really be drinking here. You take like your body in pounds. So say you weigh 200 pounds, you should drink half that number, or 100 ounces then in water a day. And that's a guideline. Everybody's different here, but that's probably pretty close to what everybody really should be drinking here. But obviously, if you got to keep on the water all day long too. It's not like you can just say you wanted to try and drink 100 ounces of water. You don't want to forget it all day long, and then you get to the end of the day and you got to pound 100 ounces of water, and then you wonder why you're up all night long going to the bathroom.
Poor kidneys too. It's a lot all at once.
Put a lot of stress there. And you can drink too much water as well. I mean, you basically can get water intoxication, and people have died by drinking too much water too. So you can't go crazy with it here. Your body probably is going to send you some pretty interesting signals to tell you shouldn't be doing this, and some people just override that and keep going. But literally, if you try and get that, proper amount of ounces of water in, I think you're going to notice a difference fairly shortly, within days, that you're going to start to feel.
And if you're one of those people that doesn't necessarily like water, the flavor or lack thereof of water, you got options. You can add a little bit of lemon juice, a little cucumber, whatever you need. If you absolutely can't drink water to the point you're afraid of it, you probably have rabies and you need to get checked out. No.
Are you foaming at the mouth here?
Are you water phobic completely? No. But yeah, there's always ways around that. It's important. And so you just need to figure out what's best for you as far as getting your intake in.
Yeah. And there's tons of different electrolyte additives now, even for waters out there. I mean, Liquid IV just happens to be one that kind of comes off the top of my head. I mean,
those are awesome.
Some people like those because they can just throw them right in a bag or in their pocket and take them with them. And, you know, it helps the water taste a little bit better. You get those electrolytes in there as well. But again, you don't want to be drinking those all day long because that can cause problems too. So 1 or 2 of those a day is probably where you want to keep it at there. Unless you're exercising outside in really hot weather and you're really sweating a lot. Or even right now in the wintertime here, you're out snow blowing your driveway and you're sweating, but you get in the house and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm not really that sweaty anymore here. But pretty soon you realize about half hour, 2 hours later, oh my goodness, my calves are cramping up, my forearms are cramping up. You need to get those electrolytes in there. So I don't know, like we've kind of covered, you know, the vast majority of stuff here.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
If you guys have any, you know, questions or you want us to talk about other different topics as well, please, you know, even respond to email here. We should have that even attached with the podcast as well, so that we can make sure that we're going over things that you're interested in and you want to hear more about. So, other than that,
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening. Hope you have a great week, and we'll be back next week with a new topic.
Ooh.